Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday morning. It's Worthiness Week. We got training on how to be worthy of everything you receive, how to be worthy of what you haven't received, how to be worthy of what you have received. It doesn't matter. Worthiness is one of the energies that stop us from getting what we want. We got a big day planned. Samir, Justin, welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. Friday trainings. Hopefully you liked the manifestation training on Spotify and Entrepreneurial yesterday. Brett Favre is on the playbook today. Check it out on Spotify. The man. It's one of my favorite interviews. We get into some really cool things. So please join me. I don't know where Team David Meltzer is to pin up my david@dmeltzer.com to join us on Fridays to get the replay, the exercises, the guides. Thank you, everyone, for joining our private sales coaching group. It's a private networking group for sales specifically. Thank you, everyone, for reaching out at david@dmeltzer.com. We were very excited. Big week. Look at that. Dominique, let me see here. I think I'll hear it. Let me pin this up here. It's pinned below where to reach me, david@dmeltzer.com. Join my text community, 949-298-2905. Let's see. Dominic Natty. Let's see here. Right on time. Hey.
There he is.
We made it.
David, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you? Oh, I love it. First person ever to smoke a cigar on my...
First one?
No one smoked a cigar, man. I can taste it right here. I love the smell of cigars. I don't smoke them anymore, but I can sit around all my friends all day if they're smoking.
Oh, yeah, this is breakfast. This is how you got to start.
That's so cool. Hey, I got to tell you a quick story. So when I played football in college, one of my coaches was, they owned the Orange Julius. Remember that Orange Julius is? Kind of like the original smoothie story. And anyway, we'd have 3-a-days in college back in the 80s. They used to run those wind sprints, across the field, lines they called them. You go to the 20 back, to the 30 back, to the 40 back. Well, anyway, Julius, he'd sit there and he'd smoke a cigar. And meanwhile, you get 30 seconds between each of those runs. And I'm like, sucking in smoke and smog. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder. I can't believe my lungs are still here. No wonder it fought off the coronavirus.
Before each game, he'd smoke a cigar. That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's how you win, David. That's how you win.
Yeah. Well, man, you are on fire. You've been doing what you do for a long time in the celebrity side of things and really having fun with it. And I think a lot of people enjoy, seeing the inside. You're known for asking tough questions, and a lot of people are nervous to have you on. I love the shit that you say and what you ask, and getting people to. I wish you would interview the president. I'd love to hear how he answers your question.
That would be great. That would be my dream interview.
Yeah,
but other people, he'd probably end that one like some of the other. Yeah, I don't know how good that would go. But that would be great.
I know. I was going to ask you, when you're interviewing someone and they get all upset and they leave, right? What do you do? You're just sitting there?
Well, it depends. There's been times when, I kind of smile. It depends. If it's a radio, they can't see my face. And I'll be smiling when I'm asking it, just thinking you kind of drop a bomb and then you'll wait and just see. Because some people, they'll have fun with it. And some people get just so offended. And then, I was interviewing this lady that actually interviewed O.J. Simpson. And it was you ask a question and the whole conversation's going well. And then when you ask a certain question, then you're just like, hello, and they always come back and be like, oh, we must have got disconnected. Right when I asked, a question where they couldn't really, even if they said yes or no, they were.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, we got disconnected at that point. And they're like, yeah, I'll have to do this another day.
What does better when someone has fun with it or they get upset? What do you think people enjoy more?
Honestly, I think they enjoy both, probably equally, because when they have fun with it, I enjoy it because I figure you come on the show. I don't like to do softball questions, and if people say, just like when I interviewed you, you were like, all right, let's do it, and I asked you about homosexuality in the locker room and just different things, and it's it's uncomfortable. You're like, how much should I say? But if you deal with it head on and just be honest, that makes for a good show because people get the information. But if you can't, it's equally interesting because it's like, wow, like what is he hiding?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Well, one of my favorite interviews, we came out, Warren Moon, my business partner and I, we came out of a club one time and, it was late at night, but it was drinking or whatever. And some TMZ guy asked about Warren having his hands between, because he had played in the NFL so long, right? And he was 44 years old. They asked, how many men's crotches has his hands been in? And could they smell his hands? But he was not offended at all. He made some really great joke about it. And he's like, yeah, if you want to smell my hands, go ahead. But I told him, I said, that's the way, other people get so offended, and he had some great remark about one of the centers that he said fell in love with him.
yeah,
So, those are all good. So anyway, with COVID, obviously you can't do as much in person. Are you able to do a lot of Zoom stuff, or how are you best building kind of that celebrity notoriety?
I was. Good morning, Angela. Good morning, everybody. I see you guys saying hello. And I think with COVID, what I was doing Zoom, I was doing Zoom interviews, and then I was interviewing a reality star and from a show called 90 Day Fiance. And he said, why don't we do this on Instagram Live? And I was like, oh, I've never really done it. And this was maybe 4 or 5 months ago. So I went on Instagram Live and did the interview, and which is different. So the thing is, some of these people, they like I wound up interviewing someone that has 4 million. She's on MTV. She's a teen mom, has 4 million Instagram followers. So I've been doing it that way. But the difference is that when you interview someone with 4 million, they said there's 30,000 people that watched that live interview. At the end when they tell you how many people watched, and it's like you got to get used to just the insults and people like, who is this guy? Like, what's wrong with his face? Like, it's just like, just all these different, the smoke of the cigar. Wear sunglasses. Like, I try to look like a Guido douchebag. That's what,
you kill me, man. Well, it's funny because I love listening to your stuff because I like people that are perturbate people. I'm a Marshall Thurber fan and Socialdeviance, and we perturbate people. I always say you squeeze a lemon juice comes out because that's what's in the lemon. When you squeeze people, we find out what's inside of them. And that tech, it's a technique that's beautiful and fun if you have that perspective. I thought maybe for the last couple of minutes we could do something really fun. And I know Justin, who is always tentative about me and my brand and what I do, but I'm me. And if people love me, they love me. If they don't, it is what it is. But I'm going to be truthful because the truth vibrates so fast. Would you be willing to do, let's say, 3 questions real quick, pretend like I'm President Trump, and I'll answer not as President Trump would, but if I was the president, what I would say. Do you have 3 questions or 1 to 3 questions, whatever you're comfortable with? Asking me is pretend I'm Donald Trump, and then I'll answer what Donald Trump should say, not what I think he would say. Is that fair?
Okay. So I'm interviewing you, and you are President Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. I don't follow politics. I'm gonna give it a shot.
That's cool.
What are your views to help the Black community if you are elected again for president?
So for me, although people may not believe this, I want to help the American people, all American people, and I need to prioritize Black people. I need to prioritize Black people because during the course of history, certain segments of people, socioeconomic, races, etc., have been discriminated against more than others. And I want to rectify that by prioritizing the Black people, but knowing for everyone that my main goal will, as I run businesses for shareholder value, my shareholder are the American people. And when we elevate those who are most persecuted, we elevate everyone. All tides rise to the top.
Great answer, Mr. President. Now, what is your goal and your plan to re-up and boost the economy during this pandemic?
Well, my initial reaction is run. because, man, we are in a state of emergency when it comes to the economy, and we need to rethink all of our financial, educational, all of our political, and we need to do it in a bipartisan way. I know, my own party, we've created great separation, but I'd like to rectify that and have great experts, because I have worked in the industry, in the business world for so long. I do have relationships. I would like to bring in great advisors. For example, for small businesses, a great advisor like David Meltzer, I would bring him in to have a nonpartisan, non-fundraising position for my last 4 years, when I am able to do what I want to do, to rethink, because technology has accelerated everything that we've done. We need to rethink all of these systems. So I'd bring in the best of breed people to build a committee that would give me advice in order to effectuate great change for our great country.
And Mr. President, the last thing, I know that you've seen my show, so you understand some of the questions that I ask, but how is your sex life with Melania right now in the White House? And are you having any sex outside of Melania?
Well, everybody knows that I am having sex outside of Melania, but out of respect to my marriage, I don't want to comment on my love life with my wife. And I'm sure you can understand why I wouldn't want to do that, but I think it's factually proven of my impropriety when it comes to other women. And that's who I am. And people vote for me for who I am. If you want to vote for a president that doesn't cheat on his wife, I get it. But, I am a great leader. I'm a great president. And please vote for me in November. Thank you for the great interview.
You did it.
Could you imagine if that was the interview?
Brutal. That would be where I get hung up on. That's why they do it to me. Yeah,
exactly. But I wanted people to see why and how much fun it is. And also sometimes you get some good answers maybe, and learn something about someone, about how close to the truth they do live and what they do. Man, where can people find you and watch all your stuff?
Dom Natty Show. So the show is on iHeartRadio. It's on YouTube and my Instagram right here. But all the interviews, I think I've done over 300 celebrity interviews. Dom Natty Show, DOMNATISHOW. Just check it out on YouTube. The interviews and clips are there. I interviewed Michael Vick for your sports fans. I did. Right. Not a ton of sports, but I do that one. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, you come back anytime, and we did a playbook. It hasn't been accepted, but I'm going to get that thing through. We're going to promote the playbook with Dom as well. I think you're terrific. A lot of fun. Look, rule number 6 in life is don't take yourself so seriously. And when people take themselves too seriously, like you said, I think it's just as enjoyable as when they don't. So thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, David. Thank you,
guys.
Got it.
Take care. Have a good cigar on me. Take care.
I will.
Right on. What a character. Look, I enjoy everyone, and we look for the light, the love, and the lessons in everyone. And perturbation, if you haven't read Marshall Thurber's book, Socialdeviance, you can see how that works. And how when you perturbate people, when you squeeze a lemon juice comes out. When we put a little bit of pressure on someone, you get to see what's inside of them. And hopefully we get to see the truth. But I certainly had fun being the president for 3 questions, and would have fun being able to answer that and allow the American public to know who I was. All the good and the bad. There's no perfection in Dave Meltzer, just potential. And I'm pursuing that to help other people. And I hope you enjoyed that as well. Let me take a few questions here. And we got some great guests always. Load me up with questions. I don't know where my team is in there, but do rewards or punishments motivate people more? Okay. Motivation, determined upon what you think gets you up, gets you back up, gets you started, or gets you restarted, can be from punishment or from rewards. But punishment's not going to inspire you. It's not going to get you there. It'll get you up. It'll get you back up. It'll get you started. It will get you back, get you restarted. But the rewards, determinative of what they are, just like money doesn't buy happiness, but if you shop for the right things, you'll be happy. If you shop for the right rewards, they will be inspiring. Punishment will drain you like fear. It will motivate you. It will. And it may motivate you more in the short term. But you got to be able to transfer that over into inspiration to get you there. And that's part of worthiness, which we'll talk about Friday, 949, pin below 298-2905 to join my text community. Yesterday, most downloaded ever Spotify and Entrepreneur. Got Brett Favre today. But most downloaded podcast ever for me, Manifestation. That makes me so happy that people want to get what they want out of their life. And this week's on worthiness. It's free, by the way. So you can get my exercises guide. I'll give you my book for free, david@dmeltzer.com. Check me out. Let's take another question. Keep on answering these. Now we're talking loaded up. People just coming through. Is worthiness something that you still struggle with? Yes. So inherent in my worthy feelings, I have a conscious level of feeling worthy. Like, can I justify economically, quantitatively being worthy? Subconsciously, the 40,000, the same thoughts I have every day, that value that I bring, worthiness. But unconsciously, what I've inherited in my being, my true energy, I feel guilty. I feel offended, resentment. I don't feel worthy of what I received. And I don't feel worthy sometimes of what I'm going to receive. I don't think big enough. I don't ask big enough. All of these things are the effect of worthiness. And so, yes, I struggle. You could say, I would rather say that I pursue my potential of worthiness instead of struggling. Pain to me is an indicator, as you know, not a stop sign. It's just indicating I move in a better direction towards something better. I'm looking to be more worthy. And the more worthy I feel, the more I will receive, so I can give through me to others. It's easier to give when you feel worthy as well as receiving. What is the number one thing you regret buying? Probably the big house. So the house that I built, my wife's dream house, I don't know if the energy, it was just such an example of buying what I don't need to impress people I don't even like. So, for me, that's the number one thing. And hopefully I learned from it. Here we go. When you were in your 20s, what were the lessons you had trouble grasping? Humility. I just thought I knew everything. I wish I would have had the philosophy, I don't know what I don't know, and I'll keep on knowing less. I'll know more, but know more about how little I know. Remember what I just said. What happens is, if I was 20s, if I knew radical humility, that I don't know what I don't know, although I'll gain knowledge throughout the next 32 years, as I said at 52, some of the knowledge that I'll gain is I'll know more, but I'll know that I also know less of the totality. I'll know more of what I don't know. And that's a really interesting concept to grasp that allows you to have humility, meaning that you are in a constant pursuit of your potential, of being more interested than interesting, of learning more and asking for help. That all stems from, I want to learn more myself, but the more I learn about how much I don't know comparatively. And so it's such a fun thing to do with the right perspective. You could buy a Kangen machine and change your water. I'm a big fan of Alkaline 88. Yeah, so I don't use a machine. This is my water right here. This water is the hotel. When you walk in, the rich hotels, and they got the big thing of water with lime and lemon in it. And I love that taste. And now I have it every day with healthy alkaline water. Happiness is the consistent pursuit of your potential. The enjoyment of that, correct. James Krauss is here. Let's put him on. There we go. At the James Krauss, my MMA fighter. There he is.
My man.
You have the best nose of any fighter. Look, if people are looking at us and they say, which one of these guys is a fighter? They'd be like, Meltzer's the fighter and Krauss is the model.
I've spent many years trying not to get hit.
So yeah. And also the ears. How come your ears are like, you don't got the Michael Chandler ears?
So it's weird. I've never had like a cauliflower ear. I've never had it in the front. For whatever reason, it always flares up in the back. So like if you look at my pictures, like this ear, and like you can kind of tell right now, this ear kind of sticks out a little bit farther than the other ones because the cauliflower's in the back. I have it a little bit. Oh, okay. It's not too bad. No, this one's fine.
You're a model, man. You look great. So anyway,
I'll take it.
Obviously great MMA fighter, but what I love about you is you're able to take that common denominator of successful people, what I call the ability that you must be what you can be. And there's no better place to find out what you can be than in an octagon or a ring. That's what I love about it. I wish I wasn't, I wish I wasn't old and afraid to get hit anymore. I used to love to get hit and
Yeah.
to hit people. I didn't bother me at all. There was some turn in the Dave Meltzer lineage that I became a big P word, a wimp. I just don't like to get hit. I watch my son play football, and I'm like, how did I ever do that, man? That looks like it hurts.
Well, I don't like to get hit. I promise you that. I try not to. It's hard, but I try not to.
How about do you like to do you like Mike Tyson? When I'm sitting with him, he doesn't mind hurting people. Like he literally does likes it. Are you on that side?
Oh, I mean, I think it's kind of broken down into like two types of people. There's competitors and there's fighters, and it doesn't matter to me which one you are. I would lean more towards the competitor side. I compete in everything I do.
Yeah.
And not everybody does that. Some people are just put on this planet to fight. I was put on this planet to compete in everything that I do, right? So everything is a competition to me.
I love that analogy. I haven't heard that, and I love that because I see that. I've been blessed, at Lee Steinberg, he represented Evander Holyfield, Oscar De La Hoya even. I mean, just great fighters and, competitors.
And you can be both. You can be both. You know what I mean?
And Sugar Ray Leonard, to me, though, is the ultimate competitor. He's the only world-renowned champion that I ever met in boxing that said, no, man, I really don't ever want to hurt anyone. I just want to win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm indifferent on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, in this game, there's a winner and there's a loser. There's no gray area. You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, if I don't win, he wins. There's a line in the movie Talladega Nights that Will Ferrell says, and it's pretty funny. It says, if you win, how am I gonna win? He said, two first is 11.
Which is that's my lucky number. I gotta figure out something to do that. 111. I was born on January 11th. But in the entrepreneurial space, competition, the same thing is so important. And how long have you been on the entrepreneurial journey?
I would say when I bought the gym was my first real all right, put your big boy pants on stuff, and that would have been 2013. So let's call it 7 years. So whenever I was 27, and that's the time I got signed to the UFC as well. So everything in 2013 is everything ramped up for me. I bought a business, and I started fighting at the highest level of the world. So it's that I would say 2013. So about 7 years.
Which one puts a bigger pit in your stomach, a fight or the business?
I don't really. I just don't really look at it like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever get this I don't really ever look at it as a bad thing. They're just obstacles that you have to overcome. It's all part of it, man. Like, this is recently my team has had some really, really awesome success. We've had a lot of guys get signed on short notice, and they're winning, and everybody's saying like, oh, you guys are killing it. And man, just like with anything, it goes like this. You know what I mean? It's a roller coaster. It's not a drag race. Drag race is a quarter mile straight shot. It's not like that. So it's like I just take it in stride. So to be honest with you, as a competitor and as an entrepreneur, I feel like those lows are what kind of gets me ramped up. You know what I mean? Like, there's a puzzle in front of me, and I have to figure this puzzle out. And I think that's what intrigues me about fighting is hey, this is a moving puzzle in front of me, and I got to figure this out in 15 minutes or less before he figures mine out. So I don't really look at it as a pit. Neither one of them really put a pit in my stomach. It's just more about hey, how do I figure this out?
That's super cool. And then coaching as well. You're one of the best coaches out there, and I've been blessed to be even at the UFC Performance Center with all the great coaches as well.
Yeah.
Do you think, because I find this in business, that coaching people exponentially helps me be a better businessman? Does coaching help you be a better fighter?
Absolutely, 100%. No questions asked. It 100% does. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be fighting. I really don't know the answer to that. But I for sure have seen massive gains in my personal game since really taking on a coaching role. I've been coaching since way before I should have been. right? Like I've been coaching guys, like when I started, it was kind of the Wild West in fighting. So it was like, if you had 6 months experience on somebody, you know, you could really add some value. It's not like that anymore, but, you know, it's putting yourself in a leadership role where people trust you and they trust your word. So like, I got to make sure that whatever I'm doing, it's not just the what, it's the why, it's the how, it's the questions that people don't want to talk about. You got to, it's not just what to do. It's, you know, when. Timing is everything, you know, why to do it. That's not just in MMA really, that's in life. As you know, you're doing the same thing. Like I can go get a coach to tell me to invest in real estate. Okay. Well, like when, how, you know, what, there's details to it that set the levels apart.
Yeah, no doubt. And one of the areas that I see paralleling the popularity of UFC, MMA is esports. You know, I've been in sports a long time, so I've watched the business of sports and how things are valued, how they grow, how the audiences go. So what advice would you give to people? Because you've been in the growth period and seeing all the changes as a business, you know, whether it's a fighter, a coach, the actual business, the TV, the marketing. What advice would you give to a young entrepreneur that maybe wants to get involved in the esports side of things? I think a lot more people can participate in esports than get into a ring. What advice would you give them from what you've learned of the growth of your business?
I just had this discussion this morning with somebody, and I feel like this applies to, I'm trying to think of any competitive nature. So there's always the competition, right? Like what's at face value? Like the score of the game is X to X, and that decides the winner and the loser. So that's the competition. Typically, with every little game that's played, I shouldn't use the word, I should have said competition. With every little competition that's played, there's also a side game that's usually played as well, right? So take esports, take MMA, take business, whatever. If I'm playing the competition, like you can't win everything. It's just impossible. Like, you know, a real estate agent can't buy every house. A fighter, you know, typically can't win every fight, you know, and of course there's undefeated guys. There's going to be people, well, so-and-so did. Okay, cool. The 99.9% people are not going to do that. But there is a little side game that you can play. And I feel like and the side game is like increasing popularity, increasing value in your field, right? Whether it be anything, right? And so especially with like video games now, who's the kid that just won like $62 million on a Fortnite tournament? I mean, come on, you know what I mean? Like, so what he's doing is not only take that tournament aside, he's increased his value in his industry to where now that kid is one of the most subscribed to people on Twitch, to where people pay to watch him play video games. Like, so he won the competition, but he's also winning the game too. You know what I mean? There's two little things. Yeah. And I just think with everything, like, you can say what you want about my MMA career. I feel like I've had a successful career. I've never won a title, you know, whatever. You can say whatever you want about the competition and stuff like that. But, man, I'll say this. I don't think there's very many people that have played the game of MMA better than me in terms of, like, I got this and I turned this into this, right? Like multiplying value. I just don't. Obviously,
so I look at you like the Steph Marbury of MMA.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
You get what I'm saying? Because
I'll take it.
He's very good. Steph Marbury is very good, just like you, in a participant, but he made so much more out of it. He captured it, he modified it, he amplified it, he perpetuated his brand, his community, and the monetization of that. You've been able to do that, you know, exceptionally well. All right, last question real quick, because there's this bullshit blend in life that I have to coach people, and I love your perspective because I love getting hyper competitive people like yourself. You know, people talk about comparison or competition robs your joy, right? In abundant spiritual side. But then they talk about, oh, you should only compete with yourself, right? You've heard that before. You only compete.
I've heard it, yeah.
But I believe that there's this blend that you can't just take any one of those rules, that there's certain circumstances where competition doesn't steal my joy. Like, for example, tonight, Padres I'm a Padre fan, which is painful. 14 years I've waited to make the playoffs. We just won, you know, I don't care about the season being weird. We just won our first playoff series, and now we're going to play the Dodgers, our biggest rivals, right up the freeway. Well, it's not stealing my joy to feel competitive of a winner and a loser. I want the Padres to win, right? I will talk trash in that. But in an abundant sense, you know, I'm also always on the pursuit of my own potential. How do you deal with that, you know, blend or that conflict of I'm supposed to be my best self, but then again, when I stand in a ring, I want a goddamn win.
Yeah, that's hard. Two things come to my mind. One is you're always fighting that battle of I had this for the longest time. I felt like that I wasn't operating at my full potential. So first of all, like, you have to be able to operate at your full potential to even feel that way, which is most people can't even do that because they can't get out of their own way, right? So remove all those things to do that. But like, I think for me, I don't think it's bad to compete with other people. Like, I compete with myself in like a grand scheme of things. Like, that's why you goal set, right? Like, if you goal set, you write this stuff down. That's a long-term thing where like I'm okay. I'm making this much, or I'm going to win this fight, or whatever. Like, so I goal set. So it's very clear cut where the end of the line is. But I'm verbalizing this as I say it.
That's good.
Competing with myself is like the destination. Competing with other people is a milestone. Like, if somebody's next to me, I want to compete with them. Like, I want to be the best damn guy in the room. Like, so if millions of people are watching, I'm about to fight this guy. This ain't got nothing to do with me. It's me and him. We are competing against one another, right? So there is no, you know, I'm operating at my full percent. Listen, man, there's so much bullshit out there with people that are like all the motivational stuff. It's so contradicting, right? Like, it's like, oh, you need to work 20 hours a day, and then somebody else is like, oh, sleep is the most important thing to be successful. Like, it's so contradicting. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, find what works for you. You know what I mean? And beat that to death. But set goals to compete with yourself. But man, when somebody's next to you and you feel like, I always compete with somebody hard whenever I feel like there's some, you know, like, yo, there's something there. You know what I mean? Like, there's some sauce there. There's something. All right, let's go. Let's compete. I'm with it. I'm game. And it's friendly. Like, I don't, competition is fine with me. I love competition. It makes me better. But I'm always competing with myself because I always want to be better than who I am. And I always want to be better than the people I'm fighting. So I think it's just time and place, man. For me, competing against myself is a bigger scale, right? And I like to goal set with that. That way I'm not, it's like, hey, I just want to do better than I did, you know, last year. These are the goals that I want to do, blah, 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 blah. And I push that to the side. But along the way, somebody's going to get in your way. And then that's when you got to be like, no. That's the roadblock to the long-term stuff. And you got to compete along the way to get better. And that's how competing along the way is how you reach the big goal, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Subset.
Yeah, it's a milestone.
I like it. I'm thinking the way you describe it is so beautiful because it's the difference between motivation and inspiration. Like, a competition is motivating, but it's not going to get you there in a lifetime. What's inspiration is to compete against yourself, to pursue your potential. And I think you made another great point is too many people forget that they are an individual fingerprint on the world. Right? What I do is I take people and their advice like a handful of sand, and I see how, you know, those grains apply to me, my potential, right? Because, you know, LeBron James gives me basketball advice. I don't think I have the same potential that he does. And so his advice may not apply to me. And then, you know, maybe in the workforce, LeBron and I, you know, I have other skill sets that maybe he can't compete with me with as well, for my quantum being who I am. And I think too many people don't realize motivation, inspiration, don't realize that quantum memory that we have, our own potential, and to work within the context of getting up, getting back up, getting started, getting restarted, but also living a happy, enjoyable, consistent, persistent pursuit of their own potential. Where can people find you, James? At the James Krauss, but your gym's in Kansas City Fighting Alliance, right?
Yeah, so Glory MMA is my gym. We have 3 locations in Kansas City, kind of a 45-minute triangle. Yeah, and then I'm all over the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. I'm pretty active on there, so holla at me.
You got it, man. And you please come back and visit me, man. I love talking to you. Your insight's amazing. And
I
you are
love
both
talking to you.
motivation and inspirational. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
Take care. Right on. All right. The great. See, you can have it all. You see how he talks about, look, may not be, the Conor McGregor of the world, but he has built a platform, a community, and done well all over. I got something to show you. I'll show it with my water, but look at it. What is that? What are you talking about? Oh my goodness. I think one more of those is coming, by the way. And we'll get one that we've never got for San Diego. I got LeBron James, my Akron, Ohio, Akronite, born in the same hospital as me, and Steph Curry. In 5, you think? Definitely going to take it. And then the Padres, I feel bad for the Dodgers. Sorry, Eric Karras and Sean Green, my 2 good friends that played for the Dodgers. I think it's time for the Padres. Those young guys, they're going to get it and take it out of the park in Arlington. We're not playing at Petco anymore. It's hard to hit the ball out there, but they do it frequently. That is awesome. Thank you, James, again. Thank you, Dominic. Really appreciate it. But let's take a couple questions before I have to go. This Friday training is worthiness. You are worthy of everything you will receive and have received. Really important to learn that consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously. How do you find the lessons that you don't know that you need? Oh, pain. Pain will indicate the lesson for you. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial pain. When you have pain, you got to dig in to find the lesson of that and angle towards something better. Have faith that you'll end up somewhere better than that as well. What's your series prediction? How many games for which one? The Cavaliers in 5, the Padres in 5. All right. 5 and 5. Here we go. What is the most pain you have felt recently, and what did you learn from it? I was active, and so multitasking is a muscle to me. You can only do one thing at one time. So I build a muscle to focus and go back. So this back, this, and it appears if I'm doing 3 or 4 things at once, but I only can do one thing at once. I've just practiced to build a muscle so I can refocus. So multitasking is refocusing. Well, I was in an extended period of refocusing with probably 4 very important things back and forth, which is not statistically successful. You cannot maintain that for a long time. And the problem with maintaining the refocusing of 4 different things at one time of importance is if something else interferes with it, it can set you off into an ego-based consciousness, accelerate you in the wrong direction, create interferences, voids, and shortages. And so, unfortunately, I was working in the activity I get paid for in the closet, 4 different things of priority, refocusing, and my wife came in with a 5th thing, and I lost my patience. And so I just got instantly in the anxiety zone, everything constricted. No longer was I able to function on any of the 5 things, and I was in pain. And so what did I do? I identified it very quickly. I stopped. I removed myself from the situation. I started to breathe. It took more than the 6 breaths of Buddha. It took 18 breaths of Buddha. I got back to center, and then I started 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things, forgave myself for being human, took accountability for taking on too many things to refocus, jeopardizing if something else would happen extraneous, which it always does. And I learned a lesson to make sure that if I'm going to push myself to the capacity of 5 things of priority to refocus in on those, that I was going to do so in a position where nothing could interfere externally, no phone calls, no in-person, no emails. I was going to keep on refocusing and practicing that. Very good lesson to learn. Good question, by the way, very deep. Here we go. How to stay persistent and consistent. Lower the bar. 2 minutes a day is worth more than 2 hours on a Saturday. Just make sure that you present yourself with consistent things that you can do for the rest of your life. Who was your mentor growing up? Well, growing up, my mom was my mentor. My grandparents were my mentor. My aunts were my mentor. My uncles were my mentors, mostly family growing up. And then when I started to go to school, Professor Annapolis, he was a mentor. Coach Weedoff, Coach Echeverry in college were mentors. And then my first business, Lou Lombardi, my first mentor in business, vice president, executive vice president of West Publishing, multimillionaire when they sold in 1995 for $3.4 billion, and has been a mentor ever since, and one of the greatest men to help me. I wish I would have stayed close to him as I lost my humility in my 30s. I know good mentors. I was mentoring everyone, but everyone was bleeding me. And I needed great people like I have today, like Dave McCourt, who's a mentor of mine, who we're doing the Get Out and Vote show today at 3:00. Check us out. Have a great guest on there, talking and motivating people that we got to voice our opinion and use our right to vote for what you want. Symbolically, that show to me is vote for what you want overall. Jeff, good to see you. I see you there. Dino, thank you very much. Let's take one more question. Thank you, everyone, for putting these in. Thank you for your compliments in here as well. I see them from Alec and Riley and David. Thank you, Art. I see those. Keep bringing the question to AJ. Thank you, everybody. I'm doing well. Let's get this one here. How to avoid distractions. You cannot avoid distractions. That would be avoiding the universal truth. But how to deal with distractions. Remember, you get one action, everything else is a reaction. The very first thing you do during the day, being grateful, meditating, whatever, should be at your highest frequency, because your first action then just sets forth a whole bunch of reactions. So you have to practice by not being distracted. Distractions will come. You can't avoid them. But how do you handle them? That's what you want to do. And for me, I handle distractions by, can I do it now? If I can't do it now, then it goes into a repository, using my calendar as a student to do that as well. Anyway, great questions today. A few things on the agenda. Today, Meltzer and McCourt, Dave McCourt, amazing person. We're going to get out and vote. Get Out and Vote show. Join us 3:00 today. Tomorrow, I'll be live, and we'll make it happen. If you playbook today is Brett Favre, featured on Spotify, featured on Entrepreneur, on every platform. If you don't have those, go ahead and grab it. You'll love the interview and conversation with my man, Brett Favre, extraordinary human and football player. Friday training is on worthiness. If you don't have free exercises, guides, my training, free, my book for free, I'll sign a copy and send it to you for free if you don't want the ebook, as long as you're in the United States. David@dmeltzer.com. If you want to join a few spots in the sales private group, right? I started 2 weeks. We're going to start. There's a private sales group, networking and learn how to sell one-on-one with me. Go ahead. You can join. If you want to join my community, 949-298-2905. Everybody out there, remember, most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Have a drink on me. Take care, everyone.